Hi, it's Sylvester, and I'm part of this support group that has really helped me with my mental health, and I wanted to invite you to this support group. There's an organization called Recovery International. The support group I attend is part of Recovery Canada because I am in Canada, and I will put a link in the description down below for how you can join the meeting the support group that I'm part of. If you go to that link, the support group that I attend is listed under Windsor because I live in London, Ontario, but it's listed under Windsor. It's a Zoom meeting, so you don't even have to leave your house if you want to attend. And people from all over the place attend this. There's like somebody from Florida attends our support group, and like somebody from, like people from all over the place. You don't have to be from Windsor or London, Ontario to join this specific support group. But there's also other support groups that you can go to as well. But if you want to go to the one that I specifically go to, then again, it's listed under Windsor. We meet on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. There's a contact that a person you can email. Just email her, tell her that you're interested in joining a meeting, and tell her that you're going to need to be emailed the weekly reading as well. Because the way the format of the support group is that when we begin our meeting by taking turns reading from a book written by Dr. Lowe, because the program is based around the teachings of a man named Dr. Abraham Lowe. And he's written several books. So again, at the beginning of the meeting, we will take turns reading from a chapter of one of Dr. Lowe's books. And then after the reading portion of the meeting, we give examples. So the way the examples work, there's a certain format. Step one is you report a single event, an everyday event, something small, like a triviality, like you got to a little argument with your friend, or you ordered your coffee and the person who was giving you your coffee was rude to you, or like some triviality, something small, but something that really affected you and upset you and worked you up. And then part two, you report the symptoms you experienced. For example, angry and fearful thoughts, confusion, palpitations, disturbing impulses, tightness in your chest, lowered feelings, sweaty palms, and so on. And then step three is you report your spotting of fearful and angry temper, the Recovery International tools you use to help yourself, and your self-endorsement for your effort. So when we talk about fearful and angry temper, angry temper is when you feel that someone else has done you wrong. It leads to resentment, impatience, indignation, disgust, hatred, or even violence. Fearful temper is when you feel that you are wrong, or when you think someone else is judging you as being wrong. This causes you to retreat and feel discouraged, embarrassed, shamed, inadequate, hopeless, or despair, etc. So, both of these are, so there's fearful and angry temper. Essentially, angry temper is when you feel like someone else has done you wrong, or when you're angry at something external to you, and fearful temper is like shame and embarrassment, and when you feel like you are wrong or being judged. So step three is you talk about angry and fearful temper. And then the Recovery International tools, we have a list of tools that we use to help ourselves. I highly recommend that you buy this book, by the way, Better Mental Health for Everyone. It will tell you everything that you need to know. It is a very helpful book, and I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it very much so, but it lists a lot of tools that you can use to deal with issues in your life and deal with angry and fearful temper. It's all sorts of stuff like, sensations are distressing but not dangerous. So, for example, if your example was that you got into a little fight with your friend, you can say that you reminded yourself that the feelings you were feeling at the time were distressing but not dangerous, or people do things that annoy us, not necessarily to annoy us. You can tell yourself that. And so again, step three is where you talk about how you used the tools to help yourself. So when you first start with the meeting, it might be hard for you to know the tools. If you ask, when you contact the group leader and tell her that you want to be part of the support group, you should also ask for a list of tools, a list of spots. We call them spots. We call it spotting when you spot ways that you could deal with your symptoms. And so ask for a list of tools or a list of spots, and she'll send it to you. And so that's step 3. And then self-endorsement. There's something that's very important with Dr. Lowe's work, is that he talks about endorsing yourself and like basically just patting yourself on the back when you do a good job of handling a stressful or negative situation. And then step 4, you talk about what you would have done before you began your recovery training, before you joined the support group. So if you're new to the support group, it's going to be hard to do step 4 because obviously you're new. So but that's how the examples go. And then after you give it your example, or after someone else gives an example, then we take turns giving spots. So like I said, it's these the tools that we have. We'll just like go around and talk about how this person either did a good job of dealing with the situation or how they could have dealt with the situation by using the list of tools that we have at our disposal. And that is basically the entire group. Is we give examples, and then sometimes at the end we'll have like a social period where we just get to like talk with each other. There are rules to the meetings, no sensitive topics. You're not allowed to discuss, religion or politics or anything sensitive like that. Meeting guidelines is you learn to report, not complain. When somebody is giving an example, the group doesn't speak. You just listen. If you wish to comment on the example, we don't do that in our meetings. There's a whole raise your hand thing that you can do in Zoom, but we don't really do that in our meetings. We just kind of go around and then after the example, the leader will ask, does anyone else have anything else to add? And then someone will, you could just chime in then if you have more to say. The comments from the group are to be directed in the third person to the example leader, not to the person who gave the example. So if somebody gives an example, I'm not going to talk directly to them and be like, you could have done this, or it's really good that you did this. I'll say, they did this. They could have done this. I talk about them in the third person. We do not bring our own experiences into someone else's example. The examples are about trivial events of everyday life. We do not deal with major life incidents or traumatic events. You got to be brief. Don't give a million details when you're giving an example. Just try to keep it brief. We do not give examples concerning anyone else in the group, and whatever is said in the group stays in the group. There's no crosstalk. We talk one at a time. You do not don't discuss sensitive subjects such as medication, sex, politics, religion, or legal issues. And we do not offer advice on medications, diagnoses, or treatments, or on how to handle a situation. You don't give advice, you just talk about the tools that could have helped. Like if somebody talks about how they got into an argument with their friend, you could say, they could remember that what's a good example, that we tend to interpret insecurely. So maybe they interpreted what their friend was saying in the wrong way. Maybe their friend wasn't intending to hurt them. Maybe it was just the way they interpreted it, and so I'm not giving advice, I'm just explaining something about the situation. No eating during a meeting, and informal discussions and sharing of ideas and stories are encouraged during the mutual aid time. That's the part at the end of the meeting. If there's time after the examples, we will have something called mutual aid, which again is where you just kind of talk. It's just like a social time after the formal meeting has concluded, and that is basically how it goes. So if you want to join this support group, I highly recommend that you do. It has helped me a lot. If nothing else, I think you should probably read this book, Better Mental Health for Everyone, because it's very good, very helpful. There's a lot of like very good stuff in this book. I recommend it. And again, the group that I attend is on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. I'm not always there. Some days I'm just not feeling up to it, or some days I'm busy, but I'm usually there. So if you want to hang out with me in real life, I guess, kind of. It's over Zoom, but you know what I mean? Like if you want to, hang out and come to the support group that I go to, then please email the person listed in the link down below. Again, the group I attend is listed under Windsor, not London. So yeah, come join. Or if you can't come to the group that I go to, there's plenty of other groups that you can go to here and in British Columbia, or it's, Recovery International operates in other countries as well. I don't remember which countries. Recovery International countries. I think there's America and maybe India. It says here United States, Canada, Israel, India, and Ireland. So if you live in any of those places, go to recoveryinternational.org and see if you can find a meeting, because it's very helpful, it's very nice, and the people there are really really awesome. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.